They say history is written by the victors, but what happens when the victors disappear overnight? Somewhere between the lines of recorded time, there exists a silence, a blank page no one can explain. Archaeologists call it an anomaly. Historians whisper of an erased civilization, but locals still remember, in deserts and jungles forgotten beneath shifting sands, they left ruins older than recorded memory itself. Stone cut with precision, beyond iron tools, patterns echoing designs found half a world away. No names, no bodies, no language remains. Yet the alignment of stars tells a deliberate design. Who were they? How did they move stones weighing tons across continents before the wheel existed? Legends speak of a people who walked between worlds, who vanished when the sky changed color. The night the heavens shook, and the ocean withdrew like breath before a storm that never ended. Some called them the Watchers. Some said they were the lost race of the dawn. In every continent, stories emerge of builders who came from nowhere and left in silence. The Incas, the Dogon. The Egyptians all speak of strangers with eyes like fire. Each built monuments reaching for the same stars, as if remembering something once seen together. Across the world, similar myths repeat, separated by oceans that should have made memory impossible. Coincidence, they say, but coincidence does not carve stone with identical geometry, over 10,000 miles apart. The truth begins not with discovery, but with what was hidden right before our eyes. Buried archives reveal forbidden maps, showing land bridges and coastlines that shouldn't have existed in recorded time. Somewhere between the fall of Atlantis and the birth of written history lies their story, a story erased by flood fire and deliberate silence. Because what they left behind questions everything we think we know about human beginnings. And that silence leads us to a second mystery, one buried beneath faith itself. For centuries, scholars spoke of missing scriptures, texts whispered about, but never found books mentioned inside the Bible itself, yet absent from the canon shaped by councils and kings. Among them, one stands apart, the book that claimed to hold the secrets of divine creation, a book describing the union between celestial beings and mortal bloodlines, the forbidden knowledge of the Watchers. The same name given to the beings who taught the vanished builders to shape stone and measure stars. Coincidence again, or fragments of one lost truth scattered through myth, religion, and memory. In 1947, the sands of Qumran shifted, revealing the Dead Sea, scrolls older than Christianity itself. Inside fragments of that missing book known to a few as the Book of Enoch, it spoke of beings descending from the sky, teaching men metalcraft, astronomy, and forbidden arts. It told of giants born of their union rulers who built cities that touched the clouds. Then came a flood sent to erase them all, wiping clean the surface of history. But fragments survived in Ethiopia, in caves and monasteries untouched by empire and time. And when translated, they mirrored myths from Sumeria, Babylon, and even deep West Africa. Different lands, same names, same fall. Same warning of a knowledge too powerful to remain. If this was fiction, it would have ended there. But then came the evidence no one expected. Ancient carvings from Mali's Dogon tribe depicting the star Sirius and its invisible twin companion, a binary star only proven by modern telescopes within the last century, yet drawn thousands of years ago. The Dogon said their ancestors were taught by beings who came from that very star system, beings who promised to return when the world forgot its origins. Their symbols matched those carved into temples of Kemet and echoed across Zimbabwe's great stone walls. Africa, the cradle of civilization, yet treated as a footnote by those rewriting human origins. Hidden beneath colonial silence lies the blueprint of global history, older than Greece or Rome. Great Zimbabwe's conical towers align with celestial maps, the same as Giza and Machu Picchu. How did cultures never connected build temples for the same constellations using identical mathematics? Perhaps they were connected long before continents drifted apart by those who remembered the lost age, an age wiped clean by cataclysm, when humanity was reset and history rewritten to fit new rulers. Empires rose on the ashes of forgotten gods, turning teachers into myths and truth into blasphemy. Because controlling origins means controlling destiny. Whoever defines the past defines what people believe they can become. Every monument torn down, every scroll burned was not by accident, but design. A design meant to sever memory from truth, to erase the lineage of light from Africa outward. Kemet's priests guarded fragments of the old knowledge hidden in symbols, later called hieroglyphs. They spoke of a time before time when the Black Land birthed sciences that lit the world. From those teachings came geometry, astronomy, medicine, and the very script the Greeks would later claim as theirs. Yet ask today, and most will tell you, civilization began in Europe ignoring the cradle that fed it. This is history's greatest cover-up, not a conspiracy of fiction, but a silence of omission. The same silence that hides lost races vanished overnight, and books removed from Holy Scripture. All roads lead back to one origin, one pulse beneath the sands of time. And those who fear that truth still bury it beneath layers of entertainment and distraction. But fragments remain in stone, in song in stars. Ancient Africans said, "Knowledge is not lost, only forgotten," waiting for the right generation to remember. Maybe that generation is now when science and myth finally speak the same language again. Carbon dating meets oral tradition, satellites scan what seers once dreamed, and the story reforms. Under the Sahara, entire cities sleep preserved beneath dunes, as if waiting to wake again. Sonar reveals geometric layouts, impossible for nomadic tribes without mathematics or written systems. What if those cities are the proof of the race that vanished overnight? What if their knowledge survived in encoded form through symbols passed to later civilizations? Pyramids are not tombs. They are time capsules built to speak when humanity forgets itself. Their alignment to the stars acts as both map and clock, pointing toward a future rediscovery. Every 26,000 years, the Earth resets its tilt. The sky shifts and civilizations fall. Perhaps the last ones knew the cycle was coming and tried to warn the next world. That warning hides in myths of floods and fire and the promise of return. And when we look back through faith, through science, through the echoes of Africa's sacred sites, we begin to see the pattern repeating like an ancient song, trying to remember its lyrics. The lost race were not gods but ancestors, advanced beyond what we call primitive today. They mastered harmony with the earth, a science we replaced with greed and machines. When they vanished, they left keys disguised as myths, because truth in plain sight becomes invisible. And so every temple, every script, every forbidden book is a mirror reflecting fragments of who we were. The missing book of Enoch spoke of watchers returning at the end of an age. The same prophecy whispered by Dogon elders that when humanity forgets balance, the sky will awaken. Not to destroy, but to remind, to restore memory, to reconnect what was broken. Africa's forgotten civilizations hold that code, the resonance between Earth and cosmos. They tell us the builders will rise again, not from the sky, but from within us. Because remembering the past is not looking backward, it's realigning with the rhythm of truth. The lost race never vanished. They became the foundation upon which all humanity walks unknowingly. Their story written in our DNA, waiting for the moment consciousness matures enough to read it. And now, as archaeology unearths what theology hid, the pieces begin to join. From the sands of Qumran to the ruins of Zimbabwe, from Nile to Niger, the same geometry, the same myth, the same promise echoes through millennia. That we were once one people, one knowledge, one origin scattered, but never truly lost. So when you hear of a lost race, a missing book, or an ancient cover-up, remember, it might not be mystery at all, but memory waking up after a long dream. The evidence they left behind is not stone or scripture alone. It's us. Every question we ask is them whispering from eternity, asking if we're ready to listen again, because the greatest secret history ever kept is that we were never meant to forget. And maybe tonight, as you look at the stars, you'll feel the pulse of that ancient rhythm. A reminder that the builders never left. They are waiting in the stories we refuse to tell. The truth was never lost, only hidden beneath the noise of modernity and the silence of fear. But one day soon, the sands will shift again, and the forgotten will rise to speak their name. When that happens, history will no longer be a timeline, but a circle completing itself. And humanity will finally understand that the lost race, the missing book, and Africa's silence were never separate mysteries, but one great story of who we were and who we're becoming.